What's up, y'all? So I'm getting ready to do an interview with a couple guys that I'm pretty close with. But what I wanted to do is take a couple of questions that we're going to discuss in the interview and take it to the public. I'm kind of curious to see what others may think about it. But when you guys hear the questions, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. All right, here we go. I agree with the saying. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done.
Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done.
Yes. Okay, why is that?
Because it's going to work hard. Stop when you're tired. You got to finish your project no matter how tired you get.
It depends on how long you're working on it. Then you can stop when you're tired.
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because if I'm tired, it's like I'm exhausted. I don't have no more energy to do whatever it is I'm doing. So now when I'm done, I stop when I'm tired.
You do what you should do and not what you want to do. So take a look at what you break down your goals and stuff to what tasks you have, and then you can look at tasks and see if it's urgent, important, whatever, and prioritize it and then do the important things first.
I mean, I'm pregnant, so I'm a doer.
I got you.
Kind of slow down and take care of myself.
Yeah.
So I think you should stop when you're tired. Because if you're just running on fumes,
Right.
what do you have? So,
I agree 100%.
yeah.
Second question we have. Throughout your daily life, do you set a schedule for yourself?
Pretty much, yeah.
I have to set a schedule because I'm a hairstylist. So everything is by appointment.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, give myself grace and just do it for the next day.
Yeah, I mean, off day, if it's off day, then I let the day go. But if it's not off, then that's it.
So it's like a working day, you set a schedule for yourself.
Yeah.
On your day-to-day life, do you set a schedule for yourself or do you kind of go with the flow? Go with the flow.
I pretty much have a pretty routine schedule. Because of my kids, so typically just wake up, take them to school, do this, chill kind of before I go to work, clean up, do little stuff like that, drop my son off, go to work.
Man, that's a busy routine.
Yeah, basically. That's basically my schedule. Yeah.
I go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Setting your schedule, it's a good thing, but I'm not into it. When I wake up tired, I just go with the flow and, just have a lazy
Whatever
day.
happens, happens.
Yeah, whatever
Yeah.
happens.
Okay, let's just jump right into it
Yeah.
because we ain't got all the time in the world. We're trying to go bowling.
All right.
So I know with me personally, with no negations and trying to balance time to do that and also work as a trainer, it's a lot of hours. I feel like I got to get up crazy early. I got to go to sleep late at night because I have, now fiance. I got family. I have a dog. I have all these different things to do.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you guys balance out your time? Because Shawn, you have Process Entertainment. You're a football player. You have Bash. You have all this stuff. How do you balance out that time to get the things you need to get done?
I think so. One of the important milestones that I just actually did that I was just telling you about earlier is that I was working at the NCAA doing accounting as an account executive, and now that I've stopped doing that, I feel like I'm gonna have a lot more time. But during that time, it was really hard, right? I had the concert that we had in October. Jacquees was the headline for that, and so trying to talk to his people and get everything set up in terms of insurance and things of that nature. That was all during work. But I had a really supportive supervisor that basically told me listen, I know you have another business, so just work with me and we'll figure it out because I was doing a good job at my job. But it's all about having people that trust you. I think that's the biggest thing for me is that I had a boss that trusted that I was going to get my job done regardless. And then I have a family that's really supportive. Anything that, any slack that they can pick up for me, it kind of helps. But at the same time, there's times where I just have to step away and be myself, go work out, do something else. So.
And that's crazy that you got that support. Now, speaking of support, Raph, you're in music. That is probably one of the hardest fields, especially when it comes to support. And trying to balance the time with music and your job, do you think you get the support from your job or other people to be like, you know what? I got this music event. I got to go home and make a song. I got to do this. Can I,
Definitely not. No, think about it. If I go to work, tell my boss, hey, I got to go home. It's hard enough to, to tell him, I won't be in work. At work because I have to go get see the dentist or something. Even when I tell them something important like that, it's like, oh man, just remember this. So if I tell them something that they really don't care about, I don't think that would go so well. But it's just for me, since it's like music and it's more just like a self-expression type thing. I'm very impulsive with my time management. Kind of, let me explain. So it's not like I have like a set schedule where it's like, oh, like I have to do this today and that tomorrow. Like I'm just kind of free to almost like, okay, whenever I feel like doing it or whenever an idea hits me, like I just lay it down. Especially since I'm someone who I try not to like force it. So I literally just wait until something hits me to work on it. So.
I do Instagram poll questions all the time. Y'all participate in
We
them.
know.
I put a question up. It was just like do you agree with this? It says, don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Yeah, don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. With what you guys described, do you agree that is?
You know, contrary to all the stuff that I do all at once, I disagree. There's a time, and it's not really a stop. It's more of a pause.
Right.
You can't possibly be at your best. Like, I can't be my best athlete, my best CEO self, whatever. I can't be my best self if I'm not rested, if I'm not in a good mental state. You see, like, there's a couple basketball players. One's at Ohio State. There's another coach at UConn that's doing some, you know, privately. But the basketball player at Ohio State I just saw yesterday did a release that said that he's stopping playing for a while because of his mental health. And there's a time where you have to stop and just, you know,
set back.
Right, because there's so much stress that happens, especially for you in music, like in being, you know, scientists, like research, like that stuff is mentally draining. And for me, it was working a full-time job and trying to organize an entire event, you know, with up to 1,000 people. So it's like, for me, that's mentally draining, especially for my first one. There were times where when you're at home and it's time to, you know, lay down and go to sleep, or it's time to just eat dinner or do something by yourself, you have to just get away from people.
Right.
To me.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Especially, like you said, especially with music and stuff. If you're not anything creative, you could probably relate to with like your clothing brand. Like if you're not in that right mindset, it won't be good, you know. Like there's been times where like I just wasn't in the right mindset, and I try like making something and it's just completely trash.
It frustrates you, man.
Because off of that, like I know, especially when it comes to editing videos, getting out content, designing the new shirts, writing speeches, there's times where I'm like so drained because I go to work all day. I come home, I still want to hang out with like Ayla and talk to my family and friends and stuff like that. And it's just like I need to sit back and just take a break. Like you said, it doesn't, just because you take a break doesn't mean that you're done or you're quitting it. You know, you're literally just taking a break from it. But another problem that I have is, where is that point where like you're just tired, taking a break, and being lazy? Like where's that line?
I think the difference is that when you're passionate about something, it never feels like you're actually working, but there are times where you're drained. You know,
That's a bar.
So it's like it's true. It's true. Like for me at the NCAA, like the reason why I had to stop working there, so because like I could have kept, you know, whatever I wanted to, but they wanted to promote me or whatever. But like my thing is like I can't keep working full days here, and then by the time I get off at 5:45 every day, I'm already tired. So now I gotta jump on a conference call and all this other stuff. It's like I don't want to do all that all at once, you know?
Yeah.
To sacrifice my dream and my mental stability to have income.
Money be a driving factor, especially being a 24, 25-year-old person. You got student loans, you got bills, you got a house, all this stuff. Should money be a driving factor when it comes to balancing out your dreams, what you have to do, what you need to do, and music, process entertainment? Like, how do you balance that out where you're like, I need money, but I want to do this?
That's
fair. You got this one?
I feel like that's like the challenge with it all.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, you need money to take care of yourself.
Right.
You know, and I guess that's like what the goal is. The goal is to make what you're passionate about, you know, your source of income, you know, so that you don't have to like split your time up between what you like doing and then what you have to do to make money.
That's a fact.
You know, so I guess that's just like, that's like the goal, you know, that you're trying to reach with everything.
Yeah, I know that was definitely a struggle. Is you know, you're doing all these different things that necessarily isn't what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have to do that to be able to fund the things that you really need, that you really want to do.
I think I think the biggest thing that people get confused, and it was confusing for me too, is so I'm in a different situation where mine's more service oriented, right? So my biggest thing was understanding that my personal income does not have to be my only source of income and only source of money that I put towards my business.
Yeah.
There are venture capitalists that are looking to give people money for great ideas, but then you have to put in the time to write up the business plan, to have all of these different advocates for your brand, to be able to go to those people, and it's hard, and like that's really challenging. But to me, my concert wouldn't have happened if I didn't have that. So at the end of the day, like, if you don't reach out and ask, that's the thing, people don't open their mouth and ask enough questions. Like, reach out to other people, family, friends.
You never know the knowledge you can get from them.
Right. Like, I don't know half the people that you know. You don't know half the people I know unless you ask. You know.
I might holler at you, but
Yeah. So it's like people.
Off the camera.
Everybody. There's multiple people.
They're out here networking.
I know we're short on time, but it's like the biggest thing that I try to tell people is like, please, 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 when you have a great idea, write it down, but get in depth and sit down. Like, I have 3 different things that I'm working on right now that are very dear to me that I'm not gonna obviously say right now. But
why not? I'll give you $5.
No, I can't. But it's like these to me are my $1 million ideas. These are the 3 ideas I know for a fact are going to do something, but I'm not going to give anyone this access to even see it until I am done. And when I'm done, that means I know exactly who I want to talk to about this. I know exactly how I want to position myself to where I'm ready for it, right? Yeah. And what I need to get ready for that. But it's all about research and stuff and reading up on stuff.
But as far as scheduling, I know a lot of people, especially people that are creatives, you have process entertainment, you have your music. Do you set a daily schedule for yourself, or are you more like go as it flows? I feel like music is more as go as you flow, and process entertainment is more, gotta have this at this, you know?
Yeah, it's yours. You first, because yours is a lot more in-depth.
It's not too crazy. I will say, like, I guess it depends on what, like, my circumstances. Like, I remember before I got this job, before I was working, and I had, like, all day. When I wasn't applying for jobs, I was making music.
Right.
And, like, I had all the ideas for my album that I'm working on. Don't worry, SOS drop in 2020. That's a fact. But I told myself, I'm like, okay, I want to lay down an instrumental a day. And that's what I was doing. But, like, that was the extent of my, like, scheduling, I'd say. Other than that, you can, like, schedule deadlines when you have, like, a set date that you're trying to put your album out. Like, okay, I want this song done by this times, and then have it mixed by this time and mastered by this time. But so it just depends on where you're at in the creative process at the same time.
Yeah, it's something that relates more to you. You and I can kind of agree on is like when you first start out, like the biggest thing is like, I just need to get stuff done. Right. I don't know how I got to do it, but I got to get it out there. Yeah. But the more, and I'm starting to like, I never used my phone calendar ever since I had it. But just now, started using it. Every time I have a meeting, I'm like, send me a calendar invite. Send me, like, you know, if somebody wants to schedule a call with me, schedule a call with me on like Google Calendar.
Because you forget.
It's like, right. You will, like, I have done so many things to where I'm like, oh, I didn't get this done today, or I didn't call this person. Like, I have my DJ that I manage is the official DJ for Ball State Athletics now. And so we have meetings with like the athletic department all the time about creative ways for games. I'm not gonna remember half of this, especially when I'm working. So it's all it's different the more you progress. Because I'm still early in my stage of my business, but like the longer that this progresses, the more detailed you get with like scheduling appointments, sitting down and actually having time to do this, and this, like you said you wanted to.
Got you. So I want you guys to kind of talk about briefly what you do. Like, we should have did that in the beginning, but we didn't do that in the beginning. We jumped right into it, which is cool. But what is Process Entertainment? Like, people that's listening, watching, what is Process Entertainment?
So Process Entertainment is an event management company. We basically are trying to host concerts, festivals. We do even smaller things like parties, corporate events, things of that nature. Trying to get into weddings soon. I have so we're getting into that space too. But it's like it's really hard to explain because everybody always thinks that you're a promoter. Right. That's not the case. Like if I was a promoter, I go to a club and I'd be like, hey, can I promote your stuff? Yeah. It's different. Like we're doing our own independent like stuff. We're funding all of our events. Like the Jacquees concert, that was all us. That was nobody else. Dang, that's dope. Stuff like that. So it's one of those things where we're trying to come up with creative ways to especially in the college market, to be able to
Yeah.
make college more fun for. I know, we all went to Mount, so it was like we didn't have concerts, we didn't have like big
Yeah.
festivals or anything like that. That's the thing I want to do.
So does that compare to like a Live Nation?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a Live Nation. The only difference is that I'm not in the digital space yet, and eventually, this is the first time I've said this publicly, Process Entertainment is going to turn into Process Sports and Entertainment, where I'm starting my own sport performance facility, which isn't part of the $1 million idea, but
so he can drop
my own sport performance facility. I want to start managing, not just managing artists, but also managing athletes and stuff. At 5-year plan type stuff. So that's pretty much it.
So Raph, I guess your question would be as far as music, the style that you're trying to take, and then who is the person that you mimic your style off of? I think I could kind of answer this.
I think I got my own style, like,
if you got to put yourself in a genre, what genre would you put?
That's tough because
Raphael. I'm in genre.
No. Only because think about it. Like especially since I have I have a bunch of places and artists that like I've gotten influenced by. Like from everything from jazz to like straight up Congolese African music. All the way up to like rap and hip hop and pop, and I guess I experiment so much that like I don't feel like I can really be put in a category of a specific one. But as far as like artists that like I wouldn't say I like mimic, but I do have my favorites. They call me Lil Breezy. They call me Lil Breezy for a reason. So
nobody call him.
Nobody.
I swear to goodness, I ain't gonna get myself in no trouble. But I swear, I've been called Lil Breezy.
Find him on social media. Y'all let us know.
We're gonna drop the video of you doing the front back.
I'm crazy with it. But so definitely Chris Brown, Michael Jackson. That's probably like my Michael's probably the one who made me like really want to like get into making my own stuff. But other than that, like Lucky Dube. Dang, I feel bad because 2 out of the 3 are dead, but but that's just how it is. But those are like my top 3. For Lucky Dube, I would say mostly just like from a writing aspect, just because all his music has a message. They like you won't find a song that's just a song that's nothing against Chris, but he'll have a song that's just literally like, oh, party, 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 female, female, but there's not really like a real message behind it. But Lucky Dube, he's one of those people that like every single song has a message. He was definitely big around because he's South African, and I remember there was a time when there was like a lot of wars going on, and he was one of those people who used his platform, his musical platform, for good, and so
if you could. If a young artist came up to you, a young musician, singer, songwriter, whatever, comes up to you, what is something that you would tell them that has something to do with time management and getting their product out there? What advice would you give them?
I'd just say to keep it genuine. Just because nowadays, like, you hear people say, oh, everyone does music,
Yeah, I say it.
And think about it. When was the last time you really heard a song that was just, like, so nice that, you listened to it for more than a couple months? You know what I'm saying? But that's just because most of the songs nowadays, they're not really genuine. They go up in the studio, they got the beat, like, oh, okay, boom, they jot a couple stuff down, freestyle a verse, throw it out there, So, yeah, I mean, it'll sound nice in the moment, but it'll get old because there's nothing really genuine about it. So,
you got that burger music. You got that music that you feel when you eat. It just sit there in your stomach.
That's one way to put it.
It sit there. Ain't none of that little stuff that just go through real fast. Yeah, you got that burger meat. What about you, Shawn? You got a young entrepreneur, a young promoter, or whatever. Not a promoter.
You're good.
But you got somebody young coming up. What is one thing that you would tell them as far as like time management and getting their business out there and getting started?
I would say whatever you're doing, focus on that. Right, like focus on that. So when I was in high school, I did 3 sports, 8 music activities, all these other extracurriculars. But when I was there, I was there. When I was at show choir, I was at show choir. When I was at football, I was at football.
Got you.
Whatever you're in, and whatever you're doing that day, working, whatever, like you're there. You're fully focused. But when you have a minute and you have dreams and aspirations, don't be afraid to take your own personal time to go after those aspirations.
Gotcha.
You know, even if it sacrifices sleep for a little while or whatever. Like, but at the same time, you know, you have to know when it's like, okay, I worked really hard. I need to take like a day break. Like, you can schedule it out. If you're one of those people that needs to schedule it out. Mine's more sporadic. It's like, all right, I'm wore down. I've been wore down for a couple weeks. I need to sit down someplace.
Gotcha.
Oh.
But yo, though, I really do appreciate it. I think this was a good conversation. It's probably gonna carry on after the camera, but it's okay.
Oh
But
yeah, it is. You got some things you gotta.
Yeah, I see that.
But check out Shawn, CEO of Process Entertainment, and Raphael T, singer and songwriter.
Where did he come from? Raphael.
That's what's on your music.
No, it's not.
Raphael, Tears of Joy, Raphael T. Oh, I know that.
You know I'm gonna look this up.
I know that. No, that might be our outro. Tears of Joy.
Don't do that. Don't do
But
that.
appreciate it. Do me a favor. If you like this, like, subscribe, and comment. How do you deal with time management in any aspect of life? But until next time.